Marvel stuff. Breaking Thor 5 plot details revealed. Beta Ray Bill, Monster Hunter Universe. Let's see what this is all about. Let's see what the Cosmic Wonder has to say about this and check this out.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Cosmic Wonder. I'm Warren Thompson, and right now fans are freaking out in excitement over the fact that we could possibly be getting a Thor 5 relatively soon in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. While Taika Waititi was talking about Thor 5 in the Thor Love and Thunder, the official movie special book, not only did he confirm that he already has plans for another movie, but in this book he actually goes into some details about what he would do for the next Thor film, essentially giving us some plot details for Thor 5. Now, another Thor film comes at little to no surprise, considering the fact that Thor Love and Thunder's post-credit scene set up Hercules to go out and take on Thor the Love of Thunder because he attacked his father, Zeus. So a lot of us would assume that the next movie is going to be about Hercules, Thor fighting Hercules. However, I don't think this is really what the story is going to be about. But luckily for us, Taika Waititi does talk about what he would have Thor 5 be about. And it kind of involves some aliens, according to Taika Waititi. But of course, if this is going to be coming out before Avengers the Kang Dynasty or before Avengers Secret Wars, it's going to also have to tie into Kang somehow. Plus, we hear from Chris Hemsworth and what he has recently said about his thoughts on a new Thor movie. What he feels on whether or not he should continue to play Thor or not, and how long he thinks it would be appropriate to continue to play the character. And of course, we'll break down everything you need to know in this video. And be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the latest MCU news. And if you subscribe and leave a comment, you're automatically entered in our giveaway for a chance to win an Xbox Series X, a PS5, some Marvel Legends items, or some DC items. The winner picks one item, and we pick a winner at the end of each month. So just as this news about Thor 5 broke out the other day, coming from the official Thor Love and Thunder, the official movie special book, we hear from Taika Waititi in that same book. And like I mentioned, he tells us what he would do if given the opportunity to direct another Thor film. And based off of what we've heard, what it sounds like, Taika Waititi probably is going to be the director of the next Thor movie, despite what some of the fans out there want, but we'll get to that in a bit. But here's what he says about what Thor 5 could be about, and then we'll talk about what Chris Hemsworth says as well. In the book, when speaking about Thor 5, he said this: "What is left to do to him? It's got to be something that feels like it's carrying on with the evolution of the character, but still in a very fun way, and still giving him things to come up against that feel like they're building on the obstacles that he has to overcome. I don't think we can have a villain that's weaker than Hela. I feel like we need to step up from there and add a villain that's somehow more formidable." Okay, let's pause right here before we finish what Taika Waititi says in this book. We talked about this a little bit before. Of course, you need somebody that is stronger than Hela, and you need somebody that is stronger than Gore as well, since that was the last villain. And there's a lot of characters that you could put Thor up against right now, but I think the perfect character that Thor could go up against in Thor 5 is Beta Ray Bill. At first, at least, and let me explain. If you make Thor 5 primarily about Beta Ray Bill, that will bring fans to the theaters. That will get fans super excited. That is what we've been waiting for 4 films now. And in Thor Ragnarok, we saw the statue of Beta Ray Bill, or another Corbinite at least. It was definitely a Corbinite, and we assume it's Beta Ray Bill. And then in Avengers Endgame, the directors did confirm that the planet that Nebula and Gamora were on was Corbin, the homeworld of the Corbinites, where Beta Ray Bill is from. So we've gotten close, but haven't actually had that Beta Ray Bill debut. And I think a lot of fans would love to see him fight alongside Thor in Avengers Secret Wars against Kang, who I think should be the true villain of Thor 5. Unless Marvel Studios has had plans for Thor 5 to come out before Avengers Kang Dynasty and we just don't know about it, I don't think it's coming out before then. They have way too many projects coming out before Avengers Kang Dynasty, and I think right now their priority is getting Doctor Strange 3 out before that movie. However, there's plenty of time for Thor 5 to come out before Avengers Secret Wars, which means they should find a pretty good way for them to tie into the Secret Wars storyline. And Thor is one of the OG Avengers, one of the last ones standing in the MCU still. So I would love for him to have a major role in Avengers Secret Wars, because if Thor 5 comes out before then, this could be the last time we see Chris Hemsworth play Thor in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He could retire the character, and especially if Marvel Studios is planning on rebooting the MCU, whether a hard reboot or a soft reboot, that could mean the end of Chris Hemsworth's career playing Thor. And based off of some things that he said about playing Thor, which we'll get into in a bit, it seems like it's definitely a possibility that Thor 5 could be his last time as Thor. And if that is true, then there should be a new Thor in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and Beta Ray Bill would be perfect. Fans would love to see Thor and Beta Ray Bill go at it. In the comics, Beta Ray Bill actually defeats Thor originally, and that's how he gets a hammer from Odin. So he is definitely a formidable adversary. And they could easily work this into the story. Zeus might not just send Hercules, he could also send other people, and Beta Ray Bill might be another one of those people that he sends after Thor. But as I've mentioned before, Beta Ray Bill and Hercules eventually become good friends with Thor, and they are not enemies. I believe the same thing will probably happen in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Now let's continue breaking down what Taika said. He said, along with the new foe, Waititi said that he also wants to introduce more and more outlandish and crazy beasts, monsters, and aliens. And he wants to introduce these from various worlds that remain true to the Thunder God's mythological origins. And that's really cool. I would actually really enjoy that. Adding a Norse mythology side to the actual movies would be super, super interesting to see, since that is indeed what Thor and Odin and Loki are based off of, Norse mythology. But he continued to state, there's a fun element to Thor, and he has a casualness and a sort of swagger about him when he visits these worlds and encounters these aliens that I don't think you'd get when it's an Earthling traveling through space exploring the universe. And these are the adventures that Taika Waititi wants to explore in the next Thor film. Thor going to different worlds, encountering different creatures, different aliens, and kind of not being phased because he's the god of thunder and he's visited many worlds and seen many different types of species in the past. But if he has to tie it into Avengers Secret Wars, then I'm assuming he's going to come across a Kang variant, and that could ultimately end up being the big bad of the film. I think Marvel Studios might go with a common theme of having Kang or variants of Kang pop up in these solo films and having the individual Avengers like Thor and Doctor Strange kind of lose to Kang in their own film, and that sets up Avengers Secret Wars or Avengers Kang Dynasty, depending on where these movies take place on the timeline. Because like I've mentioned before, I think the Avengers are going to lose to Kang in Kang Dynasty, sort of like they lost to Thanos in Avengers Infinity War. And then of course Secret Wars is going to be about restoring what has been broken. In Infinity War and Endgame, it was half the universe, but in Avengers Secret Wars, it's going to be about the entire multiverse. And I think that some individual Avengers might lose to Kang before Secret Wars as well. So I would love to see Beta Ray Bill and Kang the Conqueror in Thor 5. Now, as far as Chris Hemsworth continuing to play Thor, here's what he had to say about his future and the character. This was in an interview with Entertainment Weekly where he said, "I don't want to continue to do it until people are so exhausted that they roll their eyes when they see me come on the screen as that character. If an audience wants to see it, and if there's something that we believe is exciting and fun, then great. I loved being able to reinvent that character a few times. I don't have the answer yet, but I would love to try and figure out how we can do that again and keep it a little unpredictable." So Chris Hemsworth is down to continue to play Thor if they can have the character grow and be a little bit unpredictable. And I think that would end up requiring a pretty big change from Thor Love and Thunder. And Chris Hemsworth said that even in another interview, that there would have to be a change in tone for the character, meaning he'd have to be a little bit more serious. And if Taika Waititi wants to lean more into the Norse mythology, and if Kang the Conqueror is going to be involved, and the threat of the multiverse is going to be involved, then I'm definitely thinking that Chris Hemsworth is coming back for Thor 5. Will he return for another film after that, especially after he does Thor 5 and then Secret Wars? Who knows? But it definitely does seem like we are in for a bit of a change with Thor 5 from Thor Love and Thunder, which I think fans will really enjoy because a lot of fans did complain about Thor Love and Thunder being a little bit too silly. But it sounds like Chris Hemsworth will probably only return if the next film isn't as silly as Thor Love and Thunder. And based off of the condition of the MCU right now, how serious of a threat Kang and his variants are in the multiverse falling apart, it seems like no matter what happens, it should be pretty serious. And I think Chris Hemsworth understands that, and I'm sure Taika Waititi understands that as well. So I would fully expect Thor 5, when we get that film, to be very different tonally, like Chris Hemsworth wanted, and to be a lot more serious, while at the same time exploring more Norse mythology and going to visit other alien planets, which could be extremely interesting. But let us know your thoughts about this in the comments down below. Do you think this would be a good plot for Thor 5,
Yep.
Beta Ray Bill showing up and fighting him and fighting Hercules, but then Kang being the main villain? Or do you think this should should go another route? Let us know all your thoughts in the comments down below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any of the latest MCU news, and so you can enter our giveaway. Don't forget to like the video and follow us on Instagram and Twitter as well. And as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.
Subscribe, like this video. Have a great day, and please like this video. And thanks so much for watching. Please like this video, and see you guys. Bye.